Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd, as well as my friends over at yarnspirations.com. Today is the Mad for Plaid Crochet Blanket. We are going to be doing plaid today. This one is at intermediate level, and this one here requires you to do some advanced prep work, and it's actually not a hard concept. The fact is you have to stay organized. So I'm probably gonna have a long intro today, so just fast forward if you don't want to hear any of that. But we also have a diagram available, and you have the written instructions as well. So let's take a look at the diagram, because that's basically the starting point for today's tutorial. On page number 3 is a copy of this diagram, so you'll find that there, and you can see kind of a sample how everything is working out. So this is a reduced section in order to make this work, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take you to a different sheet, which is the exact same thing. It's just blown up just for demonstration purposes today. So here's a blown up copy of what we're going to be doing. So the blanket has 5 repeats of this. So this is one section, and then there will be another and another, so it's times 5. So once you decide to come all the way over, what happens is that this is just a repeat. So you just repeat the set of instruction of this gray, and then it'll be blue again, and then gray, and then blue, and that's just how it's going to work. What I'd recommend, if you're changing colors at all, just write down the contrast and the name of the yarn there, and then you'll be able to figure that out. So in order to do this kind of concept, it is like a graphghan, where each one of these sections is a separate ball to itself, so that it keeps itself separated from each other, and that's where all the prep work is going to need. So how many mini balls are you going to need? And when I say mini, I don't mean like mini balls. You can just keep the sections of the same ball, and you want different ones. So let's tell you a little bit about that. So if I told you that there was 5 repeats of this, and it goes all the way across, that means that there's 5 times this color, so there'll be 5 balls of this color, and then 5 balls of this color when you're going to work it out. So this is how it's going to be able to go. So when you're doing your first line, you want to get all your balls ready, so that when you do this color, you're just gonna leave it behind, and then you switch to the new one, and then you'll switch again and switch. So every time you're switching to a different ball. So let's take a look at the product today. I am going to be demonstrating using that product. I know some of you are gonna be like, why are you doing that? Because it's gonna be hard to see the stitches. As a tutorial host, you lose credibility when you don't use the yarn that is suggested in the pattern. So all the instructions are available, the chart is available here, and I'm gonna try to explain it the best that I can. So here's what the ball looks like. It's Bernat Toasty. It's a boucle based yarn, and what you want to do is that you want to separate this ball into other balls. So in the case where you have 5 repeats, you're going to need 5 mini balls of this, and then the next color that you may want to do, you'll need 5 of that, and then you have another one there. So what you can do is just make mini balls. If you have like a yarn winder, you can make little mini balls that way if you want to, but you know, conventionally you can just reach in and just grab the yarn and just make your little mini balls. And when I say mini balls, have a nice generous size ball, and you can do that. So you're gonna have multiple balls anyway with this particular yarn, so you're just gonna pull at the center and then take that. This is a stitch and win, so there is actually a tag on the end of this yarn here, and that will be the starting point. So I want to make my mini balls now, and I'll be back in just a moment. So let me get prepared for that, and then we'll see. So when I'm getting prepared for my balls, I have to have like 5 repeats. So you have to have 5 balls of this. So you can actually make 4 mini balls and then keep one just as the ball itself. So you can either just make a ball with your hand and just spin it, or I like my fun little tools. So I have a yarn ball winder, and so what I can do is just quickly make those balls in order to do it. So I want a nice sized generous yarn cake, and I can just make my cakes like this and then have it put to the side, and then I'll be ready to film in just a moment. So now that I've finished winding up all my balls, here's an example of the same color. Do you see how it's wound, and it actually has a different tinge? So when you're working on this particular blanket, each ball is gonna be at a different spot, so it's gonna actually provide a really unique look for your blanket. So what you wanna do is just grab the yarn that's from the center of the ball if it's in a cake format, and of course if you've wound it with your hand as a ball, just on the outside will do. And what is easiest is if you get 10 balls lined up for you and it's a round ball, then what you can just do is put 1 ball of each into a bowl, and therefore it won't be flying all over the place for you. So that's just something that you can decide for yourself. So in my case, it's a yarn cake, so I'm just gonna go for the center when I go out. So let's talk a little bit more about this pattern itself. So back to the diagram we go. Another thing I would like you to do, if I were you and you were me, this is my advice to you, I would on this diagram do something like this. Put an X and grab 2 colors of yarn that is not in the project itself, in a different kind of yarn, and we're gonna say this is blue, okay, and the other side, and just leave that off to the side, and the other side just mark it and say red, because mine's gonna be red. This will tell me that when I'm looking at this afghan and I'm holding it up, if the blue stitch marker is on this side of the blanket, I know that I'm going in this direction, and if I'm looking at it in the red side here, I'm going in the opposite direction. So it'll help me to know what is the angle of it so that I can actually make a decision. So when I go to do my first row across, I'm going to come across and I'm gonna put my blue marker here, and I'm gonna put my red here so that I can tell the difference of when this is being flipped, and it will help me keep an idea on the rows that I'm about to do. But I'm not quite done with these colors. Let me show you what else I'm gonna do. For each section, what I would also do, see how it follows all the way down and here's the transition? I would put a stitch marker here, and it's the same color, so I would put like green. So I'm gonna say this is green, and then I will do a different stitch marker for here and here, and this will be burgundy. This will help me also to keep an idea of my counts. So every time there's a section, so I will have two stitch markers, 1 and 2, every time there's a green section. So when it repeats again, you'll put in green and then green on the other side, and then when it goes back to burgundy, you'll have that. So you'll have all these stitch markers running through. So are you ready to go? I'm ready to go. So let's talk about this quickly. So we're gonna go across our first, we're gonna make our chain, and you can do it in sets of 26 if you would like to change the size. So 26, 26, 26. When you're satisfied with it, just add that 1 at the end. Or you can go to the words to pattern and just chain 131, and then you'll have that. On the first pass going across on row number 1, you're going to notice that the coloring is going to change. So we're gonna keep an eye on that. We are going to change it on that chain. So that's when you're gonna introduce all those secondary balls that we talked about already. So we're gonna start off with the main color that is right here. Okay, in this case I looked at it. In my case it'll be taupe. So we're going to chain with the main color that you've decided, and then we're gonna start with our first one. So this will be where the first ball will end right here, and then we pick up the next color. Contrast be a spice, and then when we go to jump down, then we'll have another ball, and so on and so on. Let's begin the beginning chain. Okay, so let's fasten up our seat belts and let's get this going. So we're going to just chain. You can either chain in sets of 26, add 1 at the end of the chain if you're gonna do that, or chain 131. So please do your beginning chain right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and see me at the end of this chain. I have my 2 sets of 26, and now I just added 1 already, and now I'm ready to go back. If you change 131, you're good to go as well. I know it's hard to see, but that's okay. Do you see these black pieces in here? That helps you be able to keep an eye on your stitch counts a little bit easier too. So second chain from the hook, so 1 and 2, and get the back hump of the chain. I want you to single crochet. Okay, and we're going to do a set number of these, and in actual fact there's going to be a total of 7 single crochets that are separated by a chain 1. So we chain 1, we skip the next chain right here, and we go to the next one and single crochet. So that's 2 of 7, and then chain 1, skip 1, go to the second, and this is 3 of 7. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next. Okay, that's 4 of 7. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next. This is 5 of 7, and then chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next. This is 6 of 7. Chain 1, skip 1, and go to the next one. And that's 7 of 7. If you're not sure, just pull it apart, you'll be able to see it. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. This is where I want you to place out your stitch marker. So I marked on my sheet, if you recall, I had green. So I'm going to mark this one here with a green stitch marker that will hold in its place. And I know that when I go to do this one here, that's where it's going to be. But there's something else that's in play here. We actually have to change the color for the next group of 7. So what I need you to do is just pull out the last one only a partial way, so that you're back with the 2 loops again, and we're gonna get our next color ready, and we're gonna leave this color off to the side and then begin the next color, and I'll be right back. So using the next ball, however you want to do it, outside or inside, it doesn't really matter. You decide, and you want to start your next color. So what I would do is start it with a slip knot just to hold it, and when you're going to finish this stitch, then with that, and then that's ready to go. So remember, when you're switching colors, you have to switch it on the last pull through of the stitch before to be ready. Let's move along to this next grouping that we're about to do. So if you looked at the sheet, the very next stitch is the next stitch that we're going to go into. So we're not going to chain one or skip a stitch. We're just gonna single crochet the next stitch using the new yarn, and we need to make sure that this other yarn that we're leaving behind is on the back side of the work. So leave that there. So now you're gonna chain one, so that's 1 of 7, and you're going to skip the next one, single crochet the next. This is 2 of 7, chain 1, skip the next one, single crochet the next, chain 1. So you're looking for these groups of 7 that you have to do. Noticing that I'm going up over top of the straggler to hide it in. Okay, so I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. So chain 1, skip 1, single crochet the next, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet the next. And how many do we have? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next. But I'm not going to finish that one. That's the 7th one. So verify. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's the 7th. So what I need to do is that I need to grab the same color that this one was in a new ball, and we're going to complete the next 7 using that same color but in a new ball itself. Let's begin that. So starting a new ball, and you're gonna keep doing this all the way across. You're gonna put that on and pull through. So because we're just switching the color now, is that the very next stitch is the next single crochet. So that's gonna be 1 of 7 again. Okay, and now you start skipping. So chain 1, skip 1, single crochet the next, this yarn's really forgiving if you make a mistake too, by the way. So chain 1, skip 1, so this is 3 of 7, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet the next, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet the next, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet the next. And how many are we looking for? We're looking for 7. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, chain 1, skip 1, 1 single crochet the next. So we're gonna switch then to this color here, but in a brand new ball. So let's get a new ball ready. Coming from the inside, or from the inside of the ball, I'm going to get that hooked up and ready, and that's gonna be the new section. And you see that this tinge is slightly different even though it's the same ball, right? So isn't that neat? So you're gonna do that, and you're gonna continue to do this all the way down. So you'll end up with all these little ends that you need to do. Make sure that you don't impede anything that is already existing. So make sure they're all to the back side, and you're going to single crochet the very next one. And in my case, I'm going to be finishing up. So you'll continue to repeat this over and over and over to the end. So chain 1, skip 1, single crochet the next, and chain 1, skip 1. Okay, and you keep doing that. So if you end up with any extra stitches at the end, you can always pull things out on the other side, as long as your counts that you think are right all the way across. You can always fake it or make it right. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and wow, my counts are right. So it's, and the last one is gonna be a single crochet. So now this is it. So what I hadn't been doing is that I haven't been laying in my stitch markers, so it's really easy to tell now. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to lay in my stitch markers so that I can see the stitch work. So right where it changed, so this one was green, And I'm going to mark that with the green, the last one with the green. And if you don't think you need to do this, then don't. Okay, and then the other color I marked, I said it was gonna be burgundy. Now because this is the end, I'm not gonna worry about marking the very end because it seems obvious. But I want to really mark these stitches that are in between the transition points. So the next thing I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna put a stitch marker on this side. So I've not turned the project yet. You can see the coloring. And I'm going to mark this side, so whenever I look at that diagram I know that this side here is the blue. Even if the project is turning around, I'll know which side is which, and then this side is red. So I just turned it over. So what I want to do is that I want to move these strands that you're transitioning to, just move them so that they are in front. Get rid of any tails that are going to confuse you at all that you've been crocheting right up over top of, hopefully. If not, you can use a tapestry needle to hide those ends in later. So the less strands you see, the better in this case. So I'm making sure that all of the strands are coming to the front side here, laying in front of me, and therefore they'll all be ready to go as soon as I pass over them. So let's officially go back to the diagram and let's kick you off for row number 2. So looking at row number 2, we're going to chain up 1, and you'll notice on this side here is that when we go to start up, we're going to chain up 1 and we're gonna single crochet in the first space. You're going to chain 1 and then single crochet in the next space. Chain 1, single crochet in the next space, and you're gonna do that all the way to the space that is just before the transition that you see. So the very last stitch of this section here will be the same color over top of this color. Your stitch marker is sitting right here. So you'll want to transfer it up so that you can keep that line. So when you go to finish that single crochet, you're going to want the last pull through to be this color, which is sitting there waiting for you. So you'll single into the next one, single into the next space, and then chain 1 and keep filling in these spaces as you go. So the very last section of this here then will be a 1 single crochet in the last space, 1 single in the end, and then you'll turn your work. So we're going to do this row through 2 through 27 throughout this whole thing. So let's officially begin row number 2. So as we begin row number 2, see the red stitch marker? So I can look at that and I have it on the sheet that it was red, so you know exactly where you are. So you're gonna chain 1 and you're going to single crochet in the first single crochet, and then you're going to single crochet in the next space, and then you'll begin the fun stuff. So chain 1, skip the next single crochet, and single crochet in the next space, and then chain 1 and go to the next space and single crochet, chain 1, keep doing that to the space, and then chain 1, and then this is the space, chain 1, and then this is the space, and you can see that the stitch marker is right here, so I know that this section is finishing. So after the space is filled in, you're going to single crochet in the next single crochet itself, and what I'm going to recommend to you is that after you complete this, I want you to move this stitch marker up. So don't finish this stitch. I want you to grab the next color that's available to you and finish that stitch, and then you're ready to start the next one that is right here. So you'll single crochet that one, and then you'll single crochet into the next space to get yourself prepared again. Before you go any further though, I would strongly recommend that you move up these stitch markers now so that you have them as a reference point in the future. Okay, so you moved up one, and then the other one you move up, and then you keep moving along. Okay, if you feel you don't need to do that, then don't. So chain up 1, skip the next single and go right to the space, and keep doing that until you see that color transition again, and you're looking for the new ball that is going to be coming up on the work. Okay, so this is the last space. See the stitch marker is telling me that. So then I'm going to go into the stitch marker space, but I'm not going to finish it. I'm going to grab the new color and then finish that so I can transition over. We have other plaid videos that are done the same way, by the way. So I'm going to come into the next single crochet, and then I'm going to come into the next space to get myself started on that new section. But before I go any further, I want to move up my stitch markers so I can see these again in the future. So I want you to do the same thing going all the way across from row number 2, and you'll have a beautiful checkerboard kind of concept as you're working your way across. And I'll see you at the end of row number 2 in just a moment. So I'm coming up to the end of row number 2 and just single crocheting in. So what I want to be conscientious of, see all these strands? I want to turn the project back in the way that those will not tangle. So whatever way I turned it last time, I want to turn it in the opposite way here. Do you see how the coloring is different here? It's the same ball, but it's just at a different spot, which makes it really kind of a fun yarn. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to bring you back to the diagram, because there's really only 2 ways to start these rounds, or sorry, these rows going back and forth. So we either start off with 2 single crochets in a row and then we start off the stitch work, or we start off with 1 single crochet and a chain 1 that is right after it, and then we begin that way. So you just have to be conscientious of that and just check it off on your sheet. So let's move on to row number 3. So when we go to start row number 3, we're going to chain up 1 and put 1 single in the first one, and then we have to jump over this single crochet. So we're just gonna chain 1 and just go right into these spaces up until where it's been marked, as you can see. So you always have these 2 single crochets that pair together in between each section. Then you're going to then switch off, and then you'll switch it off again. So just notice how that the beginnings always are different. So it's either gonna be 2 singles in a row depending on what's below it, or it's just gonna be 1 depending what's below it. Let's begin row number 3. So let's begin row number 3. You're going to chain up 1 and you'll put 1 single crochet in the first one, and then you'll chain 1. You're going to skip over the next single crochet that's there, and you're gonna go right for the space, and you'll do that all the way until you get to that transition. So chain 1, go into the space of the next, chain 1. So with the spacing, it's easier to use this yarn. I know it may not be the easiest for you to see at home. Okay, so chain 1, skip the next one, and then go into the one that is the last one of that transition. So you're just gonna go in. I wanna make sure I don't catch that stitch marker. Apply it all. And I'm not gonna finish that stitch, but I'm going to grab the next one. So leave this in behind. Okay, and then grab the next color up. It should be sitting on the front, and pulling it through. And you're going to single crochet in the next one, and then begin the same process. So if you want to leave the stitch markers and behind, you can do that if you wish, or you can just keep moving them up. It's up to you. So it seems like the colors are pretty easy to tell who's who. So you're gonna chain up 1, you're gonna skip the next single that's next and go right into the space, chain 1, go right into the next space, chain 1. This is easier to do than I thought. So here's the space, chain 1, and then skipping the next one and go right into the one that is just before the changeover, and just leave that yarn behind and grab the new one, pulling it up into the stitch to finish that one, and then you're going to go into the first one, chain 1, skipping over the next single and go right into the space, and etc. So please do this all the way for row number 3, and I will see you back here in just a moment. Okay, I'm gonna show you a little trick here. So I'm just finishing up this one as I transition over, and watch what happens when I go to finish it. There's a strand that kind of leans forward and is kind of pulled up on an angle. So how you get rid of that look is that when you go to single crochet the next, just make sure that you single crochet capturing that strand into the first one, and what that will do is it'll move it back to where it should. And that's just a little technique that you can do if that's bothering you at all. It's something I would consider doing just because I know myself, because it would bother me. So just continue along. This is row number 3. And at the end of row number 3, skipping the next one and go right into the end. And then when you turn your project, make sure your strands are not tangled, and you're gonna go back in the opposite direction then for row number 4. Okay, let's begin row number 4. So when you go to chain up 1, you're going to single crochet in the first one, and then you're going to single crochet in the next space. Just use your fingers if you don't see it and you can feel it. So you single in the next space, then chain 1, skipping over the next single, and then keep moving in the spaces until the transition point. Okay, and so you come into the next space and the transition is the very next one right after it. So just remember that the ends and also the transitions in between, that there is going to be a space just before the last one. So you go into the space and the last one and then move that in behind and grab the new one. So this one here, remember what I said about the angle? So when you go to start the first one, just push it. There it is. Just push it in front. Make sure that you don't impede any of the other yarns in behind. In single, you're going to come into the next space, fill that in, and then chain 1 and then skip and keep doing that all the way across. This is row number 4. I'll see you at the end of this section. So coming up all the way to the end, I've removed all my stitch markers because it's really actually easy to tell. Sometimes it's not so much. So I'm coming into the very last one, so there was the last space and the last one, and that'll conclude off row number 4. So again, turn your project in a way that it will not tangle, and let's officially then begin and making sure your yarns that you're ready to go for the new stuff is laying in front as always. Let's begin row number 5. For row number 5, you're going to chain up 1, single crochet in the first one, and you'll see that there's a single crochet right below in the next one, so you want to jump over it. So start chaining 1 and then come to the next space, single crochet, chain 1, and you're jumping over. So chain 1, skip in the next one, and then this is the last one before the transition. So start it, let it fall in behind, grab the new color. I'm not upset that I actually used those stitch markers to help me in the very beginning, but once you understand it, you can just pretty much blaze through. So begin to chain 1 immediately, jump over the next single, and then just going right into the spaces. So this is row number 5, just nice and straightforward, and I'll see you at the end of row number 5 as we do the turn. So I'm now officially at the end of row number 5, so turn your project again and let's begin and start row number 6. Let's begin row number 6. We're going to chain up 1, single crochet in the first one, and I can feel a space underneath the next one, so therefore that has to be a single, and then chain 1 and then start skipping over my spaces. I think at this point you pretty much know what you're doing, but what we're going to be doing is changing the story then for row number 7 as we put in a cross line that appears to help it make it look plaid. Please do this all the way across for row number 6. So as you finish row number 6, you're going to want to finish off all the strands that you have. So you're going to cut your yarn, and I'm just going to demonstrate it once, and you will do this with all of the individual colors that you have lining up so that it just gets stuck underneath. So just pulling it through. And you want a nice clean look when you go to do this, so this is why you're doing this. Okay, so you're just gonna glide it up underneath the same coloring of the stitches, and you're just gonna go back and forth a total of 3 times. When you pull on it, don't pull so tight that you're going to ruin the tension. So just back and forth a total of 3 times. So that was 2 so far, and then finally 3. Okay, and then you're gonna go to a new color that you have. So just lean it forward and you'll see it. And you're gonna cut the work. So this gives you an opportunity to untangle anything that's been tangled. Okay, and then you're just gonna go back and forth in the project a total of 3 times. And please do this, and I will see you at the end of this section here, and then we'll start row number 7 with the clean color and then begin again with all new colors after that. Let's begin row number 7. So starting fresh with the new color, and this is color C in this case, you are going to go all the way across. And so right where they transition, you're still putting your 2 single crochets in a row. It's just the difference is you're not changing color on either side of it. So starting in the very first one, you're just going to attach and then chain 1 and then single crochet in the first. So if you looked at the sheet, you'll notice that there's a single crochet right underneath it, which is true. So you're gonna chain up one, skip over that, and start your spacing, filling those in. So chain one and put all in the spacing. So you want to be very conscientious of this coloring that is in between when it changes. So this is putting in a beautiful line that you have with a different color. So you're skipping, and so this is the last one of this color before it switches. Usually you would have had to change the color for this new box, but in this case you're not. So you just go immediately into the next box, chain one to skip over the next one, and etc. So this is row number 7, and just blaze all the way across. We are going to get rid of this color at the end, and then we're going to pick up and start new coloring for all of the boxes so far, and the coloring is still staying the same after this concept as well. So let's continue to do this all the way across. So at the end of this color you're just going to just single crochet in the last one and get rid of this color. Just weave it in the ends. I've already shown you that, and we'll continue to row number 8 in just a moment. So at this point you'll have your sampling done, and you notice that this is the same color ball, but it's at a different position. So when you go to do the next ball, we're going to continue the same color way on the opposite side of this. So when you're doing this, you can decide whether you're going to continue that same ball going on the other side, or you could switch it with the other ball and it will change the color on the opposite side of that one. You can decide what works for you. So what we're going to do is that we're going to start with row number 8, and it's exactly what you know, and we're going to start all new coloring at this point. Okay, and so it's not until after row number 13 is that we switch the color in the height so that they're changing positions. So we're going to start with the very first one and just join it. So chain one, so this is row number 8, single crochet in the first one, and then single crochet in the first space that's right underneath it. Go right up over top of the straggler. It'll be less to sew in later, and then chain one, and then just go into your spacing. So the only difference this time is that when you get past the middle section here, right where it changes, you just have to introduce a new yarn like we did on the chain when we first started. Okay, so you going in there. So I'm single crocheting into the next one, but I don't want to finish that. I want to grab some new yarn, which will be this color here. So I'm looking at my yarn ball colors that I have. Do I want to continue the same? Yes or no? So I am going to want to continue. So any tangles that you have, you can untangle your balls at this time, and again creating a new slip knot, putting it on, and then carrying on that color into the next one. So single crochet and then go into the next space and then chain one and jump. So do this all the way. This is row number 8. So at the end of row number 8 you have all your new colors attached, and you're going to turn your work and then begin a new journey, then row number 9. Let's do that. Make sure all your strands are in front and get rid of any of the loose ends that you have, and then that won't confuse you in the future. Let's move on to row number 9. In row number 9 we're gonna chain up one, and we'll do one single crochet in the first one. The next one should be a single crochet, so just chain one and then start your jumping at that moment. So you're back to what you already know from the before, where you are going to switch over those yarns as you hit those partial like hit those marking spots right in the middle. So this is the last line has just created some fun stuff. You see that? Neat, eh? And you're coming in. So now I want to change, so leave that to the back, move this forward, and then just scoop it so that we can just kind of shift it over. Okay, chain one, skip the first single crochet there, and keep filling that in. This is row number 9. So I'm just coming up to the end of number 9, and then we're going to turn our work in a way that doesn't tangle, and let's begin row number 10 in just a moment. In row number 10 we're going to chain up one single in the first, and you can feel that there's a chain one space right after it, so fill that in and then chain one and then start jumping, and then as you transition over that midway point make sure you do that. So just chaining ones. Okay, and then the next one here is the transition, so leave that behind, pick up, scoop it, and kind of move it over. Single crochet. Okay, put one into the space, chain one, and then etc. So just feel for the spaces, keep that chart handy, and this is row number 10. Coming up to the end of row number 10 and coming to your last stitch, turn your work and let's begin row number 11. Row number 11, chain up one single in the first one. You can see that there's another single crochet here, so you're just gonna chain one and jump over it and then fill in your spaces and then do your transitions in between. Please do this all the way across. This is row number 11. I'm at the end of row number 11, so just turn your work and let's begin the next row, number 12. Number 12, just chain up one single crochet in the first. You can feel that the space is in the next, so fill that in and then chain one and then start jumping your spaces and do your transfers in between. So just keep referring to that diagram if you need help and blaze your way across row number 12 now. So as we make our way all the way across, then we're just gonna come into the end of row number 12 and we're gonna turn our work and then begin number 13, and then 13 will be the last of all of these colors here. We're gonna get rid of them and then we're gonna start a fresh new section, which then will change the positioning of what we see and also introduce some newer colors. Let's begin to do that next. Row number 13, just chain up one single crochet in the first one, and you'll see that there's a single in the next one, which there should be, so you're just gonna chain one and then just jump over it and etc. and do all your color work after this. At the end of this row, what we're going to do is fasten off all of these colors. So you may want to trim the yarn as you're going and then go back with your tapestry needle and hide in all of the loose ends, and then we'll begin row number 14 with a fresh all new restart. So let's continue this journey and I'll see you at the end of this row. So I would trim these yarns as I was going, like I told you I would, and let's continue our journey in just a moment. So coming to the end of row number 13, and this is the end of the line for all of it. So what I want to do is just make sure all the yarns are trimmed, and I'm going to use a tapestry needle like I showed you before, and let's hide in our loose ends now. So let's do that and I'll see you back here in just a moment as we start our new journey in just a moment. So as we begin row number 14, what we're going to do is that we're going to start off and we're going to then switch the color. So this color here that we've been seeing, the taupe, is going to shift over top of the other one here, and then this color here, instead of using this blue one that you see, it's going to be this one. So you see it's the same one that you did this line color with, and then when you go to do the crossing over eventually like you did here, this will be this blue again, just to kind of give it that visual separation. Let's begin row number 14 with all new colors. Okay, let's begin row number 14, all new colors, and it's exactly what you already know. It's just you gotta just do it right. So you're gonna start on the first one and just attach. And then chain one and single crochet in the first one. So you should feel underneath that there's a chain one space, which is next. So you're just going to start with that one and then chain one and then jumping over. And just go right up over top of these stragglers. It will help it stay in position. And you're going to do that until you're ready to change at the midway point. Okay, so there's the last one of this coloring. So I'm going to not finish that stitch, and I'm going to, for this one here, I'm going to grab the grape color, which is going to be this here. Okay, so it was the one that we used already. So we'll be using this yarn, these yarns instead as the main. So you're going to single crochet then the next one, and this is row number 14, so you can feel that the space is next, so fill that in and then start doing your chain one and then jumping over and etc. So introduce the new colors when you need to. So the next one will be this taupe again, so you'll introduce a new one, a taupe like you did here, and do this all the way across from row number 14. And coming up all the way to the end of number 14, and then we're going to turn our work and begin number 15, and you'll see that the coloring is changing. Get rid of any loose ends that you do have now that you've changed colors. You'll use your tapestry needles for those and get those stuck into position, and I'll be right back in just a moment. Row number 15, chain up one single crochet in the next. I can see that there's a single crochet in the next one, so I have to chain one and then just start playing within the spaces itself and just jumping across, and then make sure you just transition over to the other color once you get there for that section there as well. So continue this. This is row number 15. Coming up to the end of number 15, I want to turn my work and then begin row number 16. Row number 16, just chain up one single crochet in the next. I can feel that there's a chain one space right in the next one, so I want to fill that in and then start, so chain one and then start jumping into the spaces and then transition as you switch over to the other colors as you're beginning. So let's continue this journey. Number 16. I've come up to the end of number 16. I am going to turn my work and we'll begin our journey then row number 17 in just a moment. Row number 17, just chain up one single crochet in the next, and then I can feel, what do we have here? So the next one is a single crochet, so I'm going to chain up one and then start going into the spaces. Make sure you transition to the new color once you get there and continue this all the way. This is row number 17. At the end of row number 17, turn your work and let's begin row number 18 in just a moment. Row number 18, you're going to chain one and one single crochet in the next. I can feel that there's a chain one space there, but it's also in the diagram, so just fill that in, chain one and then start jumping and then start transitioning once you get to those colors. Let's continue row number 18. So coming up to the end of number 18, turn your work and let's begin number 19, which will be the end of all of these colors. As we do a line like this again with a different color, we'll be doing it with the color B, and it's going to be this color for me, and we'll continue that in just a moment. So turn your work and let's begin the last row of 19, and then we'll be ending those colors at that moment. Number 19, chain up one single crochet in the first. I can see that there's a single crochet next and then there's the space, so chain one and start jumping over your spaces and then just change over once you get to the next block section there, and I'll see at the end of row number 19. I would strongly recommend that you trim your yarn as you go, so as we pass over I would just trim and get rid of the extra yarns here. So this will be the end of this color here, but before I switch over I'm just gonna trim this, and then that will be ready for me to sew in my ends with the tapestry needle, and then begin the next section and chain one and jumping over, and then I will trim this particular yarn once I'm switching over to the next block, and I'll see at the end of this row number 19. At the end of this row you want to just make sure that you trim all of your yarn, and then you're just going to use a tapestry needle like I showed you and just hide in your ends, and this will conclude off row number 19. And I'm going to do that, and then we'll start row number 20, which will be a solid line just like you see here. Let's do that next. So moving on to row number 20, I want to tell you something. So I lost my way just a few seconds ago. I'm like, oh my god, which side is which? And I remembered that I put my stitch marker here red, and I looked at the diagram. I'm like, okay, I just finished row number 19, and when I start row number 20, 20 is on the red side. So again, that's something that you should be paying attention to. So when I go across, I'm starting with the red side and I'm doing row number 20. So row number 20, we're going to introduce back into the fold. We're going to introduce color B, which will be using this beautiful yarn color. So let's begin to do that next. It's the spice. So you can just look at all the different balls that you have at spice, which one would look the best, and you can decide that. So let's begin row number 20. Starting with row number 20, starting in the first one and using the color B, you're going to go all the way across with this color, so just chain up one and one single crochet in the first. And 20, I can feel that the space is next, and you're just going to fill it in, and you're just going to use this color all the way across and jumping over where you need to, and just make sure you're paying attention to when it switches over to the other colors. You're not going to at this particular row. Okay, and so this is row number 20. So I'm going to go into the one, which is the end of this block here. I'm going to single crochet in the next one, and I can feel that their space is right after it. So I want to fill that in and then keep on jumping. So do this all the way across. This is row number 20, and I want to finish this yarn off on the other side and use the tapestry needle. So I'm going to leave that in your hands, and I'll be back in row number 21 in just a moment. So row number 21, we're introducing the same color that we had. So this here is the same colors just at a different spot. So you can decide if you want to you know, make it more interesting and change it over. Just look at your balls and determine what is going to work the best for you. So let's continue our journey. Then row number 21, and starting all new colors again. So starting in the beginning, just join it, chain 1 and single crochet in the first, and then chain 1 because there is a single crochet here, and then just jump. So you'll be transitioning as soon as you get into that spot that's partially the way through. Okay, and so then this one, and then this is the last one of this color. So then you just look at it and then you just grab the yarn ball that you think is best, and then you're just gonna match it and etc. So you're gonna pick this up, do row number 21. I'll see you back at the other one. I will turn around and get ready for row number 22 in just a moment. Row number 22, you're just gonna chain up 1, single crochet in the first, and then I can feel that there's a space, and the diagram shows that too, and then begin your chain 1 and start your jumping over. So please do this all the way across. This is row number 22, and just make sure you're changing colors at the spots that you need to. I'll see you at the end of this row 22. Okay, I'm finishing number 22. Turn your work and let's begin row number 23 in just a moment. Row number 23, chain up 1, 1 single crochet in the first. I can see that there's a single there, so I'm just gonna start with the chain 1 and then jump to the next space and do this all the way across, making sure that I just handle myself properly as it changes over at the colors. Let's do this. This is row number 23. At the end of row number 23, let's turn our work and let's begin 24 in just a moment. 24, you're just gonna chain up 1, 1 single crochet in the first. I can feel that there's a space, so fill that in and then chain 1 and then start jumping your spaces over and change as you change over the blocks in just as you come across. So please do this. This is row number 24. At the end of number 24, see how the yarn is just transitioning on its own? It's not neat. So let's begin row number 25. Row number 25, just chain up 1 and 1 single crochet in the first, and then chain 1 because there is a single crochet in the next. So I just want to start the jumping immediately and do this all the way across. This is row number 25. So I'm actually just realizing this. I just finished row number 25. I realized that I didn't grab the right yarn ball after I had finished this middle line. So you can see how things will work out. Oh Lord, always something. I'm not gonna change my work at this point because you understand it. You can follow it, but you can see that it actually turns out pretty cool, right? So you can make up your own story as you go. And if anybody says you were wrong, just say you were being creative. So let's continue. This is the row number 26, which is your next. Row number 26 is the end of a major repeat. So you're gonna do rows number 2 through 27 4 more times, but row 26 that I'm about to finish is the very last row of your entire blanket at the end. Let's begin row number 26. So 26, we're gonna chain up 1 and do 1 single crochet in the first one, and then you're going to do the next one because there is a space, and then start your jumping. So chain 1 and etc. I don't know why I didn't notice that earlier. So let's continue our journey, and I'll see you at the end of row number 26, and we'll begin number 27, which will be the official end of a repeat. I'll see you back here in just a moment. So I'm at the end of row number 26. So technically I'm just gonna explain this to you. This is the end of a major repeat at the very end of the afghan, so this is where you'll finish. But if you're continuing with the repeat pattern, you have to go to 27. So that means that all of this yarn that we just did has to finish off. So you have to cut this and then just weave it in. And when you start row number 27, it's just like doing row number 25. So I'm gonna rely on that, and I'm gonna take you to the diagram next. I'll just show that to you and I'll have you do that, and then I'm going to move on in today's tutorial because I've done a lot of rows already, and I think that you should be able to catch the drift at this moment. So let's just do this, and I'll go to the diagram and then we'll kick off some more new stuff in just a moment. So in the major repeat, 2 through 27 is the repeat. So 27 is just like 25. The only difference is that you're going to switch off to your color. So you'll use the taupe again just like you did before. So it's gonna pick up and there'll be a blue. So once you get this row done, then you go back and you pick up and you start row number 2 all the way through 13 again, and then you'll do your coloring, switching spots and etc. So right now I'm going to switch off and I'm going to show you something new that is going to be in this pattern, and we're going to be doing the vertical lines, which is actually pretty easy to do, and it gives you a visual separation too. So let's do the vertical lines, and you can see things look like a box, but the vertical lines kind of split it in half, which makes it look really cool. So you can see how it's got the coloring that you would like to do. So it's got the suggestion of colors that you can do, and of course you can use your own creativity as well. And also the fringe here matches those as well, so that's something that you might want to keep in mind too, just for that continuous flow. Let me show you how to do this. This is a really neat look. It's called like a surface slip stitch. I call it surface overlay, and either way you're good to go. So you have to have the yarn coming from the back to the front of the project, and I'll demonstrate that right now. So here in the project, colors number B and C are used for the contrasting, for being able to do the verticals that you have. So each one of these kind of boxes that you see will be split. So you'll have one come up here and then another one here and etc., and you'll work your way all the way throughout this whole thing. So it's a really kind of a neat idea. So you'll want to start off with the very edge and work your way. It's called a surface slip stitch, and what we do is that when we go to play with this, we're going to be like the hook is a sewing machine, and we're gonna bring it up through here and then surface it all the way to the top. So let's begin to do that, and let's just choose a color. So it's either B or C, and I'm just gonna choose, let's just choose a color, B or C. It doesn't really matter. Let's just have some fun. To do this, you want to create a long loop that you'll secure later, and you're going to start off and you're gonna look for the halfway point. You can just guess it and just come down into the chain just to give it some kind of stability to start, and you're going to pull up from the back and just keep it looped. So you'll want to use your hand in behind, and you'll just use it like it's a sewing machine in behind. So coming straight up into the next kind of section, just in behind, loop that yarn and be a little bit kind of loose with it, not too loose, and just pull it through. You're then going to move up into a new section, and then in behind just loop that yarn and pull it up. And you're gonna work your way all the way up. So it may help you just to lay this down flat on a table so that you can keep this in a straight line, well, as straight as you can get it, all the way to the top. So in your hand and behind, just loop that needle as you're bringing it through, and you're just gonna go right across sections completely. So it's like a surface overlay. It's just laying in the front. So as you're jumping over, just continue to jump, and keep moving up in the vertical direction. And you see that? So you're getting that line to go straight up just like that. So what I want to do is go all the way to the top, and then I'll show you how to fasten it off on the other side, and you can do the remaining like that too. So once you get all the way to the top, what you can do then is just trim your yarn long enough and keep this on the back side like that. Okay, and you're gonna do that one on this side and just turn it over, and right where that is in, you want to take your tapestry needle and hide it in that particular line. Okay, so just kind of weaving it in and out. Stay on this side of the project, so don't let that needle fall to the opposite side so you can't see it, and pull it through so it gets it and get it stuck. Again, like before, just go back and forth 3 times into your project, and you should be good to go. And you're gonna do both sides of your strands like that, and then you'll continue to do the rest. And I would do it as you go, and less to weave in all at once at the end. So that's something that's a surface overlay, and let's talk about the fringe next. So let's talk fringe. Now the fringe is going to be using all 3 colors that you have. So it's a kind of a neat way to go, and so you want to look at the photograph. So wherever you have this, like for example, what you want to do is grab the same color, and you want to use 2 strands together. So you're gonna have multiple balls anyway because of the way that you did it. And so what you want to do is take two strands together and measure it to be about 18 inches. I'm just guessing at this moment. And once you have that, you can just safely cut it like that. Okay, and then you can just fold it in half like that and keep the loop like that. So what you have to do is that you have to get this through to the project. So because this is the orange for this, I want to match that exactly. So what I'm going to do is just go right at the base of that and pull it from the back, and it's going to go through the front. And the reason why I'm coming from the back is that this crossing over will be on the front side of the work. So I'm looking at the front side of the work, and I'm just going to feed the strands through like that. So if I want this color, obviously you just grab two balls, and again you should measure it out. It's about 18 inches. Fold it in half, and if you don't want fringe, then don't do fringe. And then you want to put these on the edges from the back. Just pull it through and then loop it to the front side, and therefore these fringe will then match the coloring of everything coming through. So this one here, because that you started with this white color here, you're gonna want to use the idea of going right over top of it. So just let me just show you. So let's just guess 18 inches. Okay, fold it in half. And what I would do is go right up over top and kind of get that white to be completely buried underneath. So pulling from the back, and therefore that white can get hidden, see, right underneath that. And so you'll want to match your coloring just like that as you're going all the way across. So this is how you do the fringe. This is hopefully this is a good tutorial. I really don't know at this moment. It's such a big project, but really the diagram to be able to read it is the trick. And of course you can have a lot of fun with your verticals and your coloring and etc. So have a good day, and we hope to see you again real soon right here in the Crochet Crowd, as well as my friends over at yarnspirations.com.